Welcome to Porcelain Peak, a strange and scary podcast dissecting all things horror and sci-fi. Here are your hosts, or what's left of them, Tone, John, and Anthony. Enjoy the trivia while you can.
So then I start singing, we didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. Sing it with me. We didn't start the fire.
But we're live right now, and you're fucking up the intro.
Oh, okay. Go, fine. Do your thing. Okay, I was trying to tell you a very, very hot story.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring in the enthusiasm here. Welcome to season 4. Hey, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we are Porcelain Peak, and we're getting super silly because we're recording on a Friday.
Yeah, got to get down on Friday, as the philosopher Rebecca Black once said.
You're going to get us death threats by proxy, dude. All right.
That's a cool band name, Death Threat by Proxy.
Here's what we're doing today. We are going to do Chop Talk. We're going to share some award news that's spooky instead of racist, I guess. Right?
We laugh because it's true.
All right, and then we're going to do more with that, and then we're going to play trivia. Then, for our main discussion, we're continuing talking about Sam Raimi, and we're looking at Spiderman 2 today.
It's the second one.
And for the final cut, we're going to talk about both Firestarters. John is with that Prodigy.
Huh?
The Prodigy song.
It's not even his song. He's not prepared.
I'm not prepared. Firestarter. You already sang it earlier. Okay, now I look like the fool. We're going to get started with Chop Talk. Run it.
Run the footage. Run the reel.
Garcon.
Why don't you take an axe and chop it open?
Well, before we get started, John, thanks for letting me down. Anthony, how are you?
Damn. Well, Tone, I just got to say for the ladies and gentlemen at home, it's getting hot in here.
I know. I got that wrong.
But I'm going to keep all my clothes on.
Yeah, probably good for potential of future monetization.
Yeah, no, and it's not actually that hot in here. I'm trying to make as many hot fire puns as I can to kind of to reinforce the idea for people that were talking about Firestarter 1984 and Firestarter 2022.
See, because he's Dylon, get it?
Yeah,
he spits hot fire.
He spits hot fire.
Yeah. But other than that, it's lit. There we go,
John. I'm sorry I skipped you because I didn't like that. What do you got? How are you?
That's what happens when you mess with the natural order.
I'm doing well. It's Friday, so it's definitely a little weird. Yeah, gotta get down. It's a little weird because Wednesday is like our ritual.
Yeah.
And the ritual has been broken.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not technically true because
I think that's when the fucking
Fridays.
dancing clown comes after you. It was at the ritual
Fridays
of Chubbs.
We've even done some Sundays.
Yeah. Sundays for the episode to come out on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done some crazy shit in our youth, but we're older, we're mature, and Friday is fucking that's the deadline. That's the latest we have. So enjoy this Friday energy, because I feel like I watched all of these movies like a month ago already. That's how long this week was.
Plus, 2 of them were pretty fucking forgettable.
Yeah.
You'll have to tune in later to guess which ones they are.
But speaking of dumb shit, let's hear me try to guess some awards from the, Fangoria, hosted by Shudder, Chainsaw Awards, with a bunch of people. The only person I saw from it was Darcy the Mail Girl from Joe Bob was on there, looking fine. But, so I'm going to be guessing the categories. You guys watched this live.
Yeah, that was crazy. So I searched for it on the Apple TV app, and it just popped up and played. And it wasn't supposed to be on for another 5 hours.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get through it and realize that you were watching like a previous year's.
That's
but
what
I was
checking.
like, they haven't done this in years, and it's not on Shudder.
This doesn't make any fucking sense. And then when I searched on Shudder, it didn't show up. So I was like, this is a glitch.
Hey, man.
And
this truly is a multiverse
Yes.
of madness.
All right, first up, Anthony, this one is a freebie. but it is the best kill from last year. And there's no choices. It was voter write-in.
Okay.
So what do you think people voted for as the best kill of last year? Or was it this year?
Well, it's of the last year's films.
Would you consider the bus scene in Texas Chainsaw to be a kill, or is that a chainsaw massacre? I guess. If you're
I would
being
consider it
technical.
Yeah.
I think technically it's from this
The
year,
other
though.
one that I would say is what we said as one of the best kills, which is the Fear Street one from Fear Street.
Which specific one is it?
The one from the first one, the meat grinder, the grinder thing that she goes through.
Close enough. The bread slicer.
Bread slicer, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
it was some
was-
sort of thing that you would use at a deli.
That's actually the one that was picked.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Good for Fear Street getting a pick in an awards show.
All right, best documentary. The nominations were Woodlands, Dark and Days Bewitched, Mail Order Murder, Dark Shadows and Beyond, the Jonathan Frid story. And this is a category that's new to these awards. They didn't used to do documentary stuff.
I'll guess the Dark Spooky Forest folklore one.
Woodlands, Dark and Days
Yeah.
Bewitched. That one, I believe, is the correct answer. John, can you confirm or deny that?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay, great.
Killing it. That's a great confirmation. I'll take it. I'll take the point.
Yes, and I believe that one is currently on Shudder. So, if you're interested in it, which I am,
It's not on Shimmy or Shake, but it is on Shudder.
it is on Shudder. Yeah. All right, achievement in nonfiction. The nominees were The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, Elvira's 40th anniversary, very scary, very special, and the Boulet Brothers Dragula.
Oh fuck. I'm gonna swing for the fences here and say the Dragula.
Ooh,
Is
that
it
one
Joe
was
Bob?
Joe
It
Bob.
was Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, a little nepotism.
Yeah, that's why I didn't guess it. Is I was like, they wouldn't do that, and then
They sure did.
yeah,
They sure did. Okay, next up is costume design. There's Candyman, Last Night in Soho, Bingo Hell, Prisoners of the Ghostland, and Slumber Party Massacre.
I'm gonna say Prisoners of the Ghostland.
I don't. Do you remember?
I believe it is Last Night in Soho.
I don't remember a single fucking costume from that movie, but I do remember that.
There's different time.
Oh, best
period.
costume design. Yes, was Last Night in Soho.
But Nick Cage has a fucking bomb on his dick in Prisoners of the Ghostland, and to me, if that ain't costume design, I don't know what is.
All right, best creature effects. You got The Green Knight, Black Friday, Antlers, VHS 94, and PG Psycho Goreman.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to say Psycho Goreman.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
They had the dude that created it. He
I
looks,
would
looks
do
like Paul Dano.
Yeah.
I would do another episode about Psycho Goreman.
Yeah, absolutely. He had
All
like a little, like a creature with him. It was like a brain that spoke and it had like a little dome over his head.
That's
It was
cool.
it was pretty tight.
Yeah, it was good. Okay. The next one is best makeup effects. So we have the movie Hurt. We have Blood Red Sky. We have Spiral from the Book of Saw. We have, I say Saw. We have Halloween Kills. And we have Candicia.
I'm gonna guess Halloween Kills.
That
Yes,
is correct. Nice job. All right. Best score, we got Johnny and Son and Daniel Davies for Halloween Kills. We got Electric Youth for Come True. We have Ben Lovett for The Night House. We have Clint Mansell for In the Earth. And we have Tom Schrader for Hurt.
I'm gonna go with the old Johnny boy, old Johnny Carpenter.
That is correct.
Nice job.
Nice. Yeah,
You're
the
on
only
fire.
good part of the new Firestarter
What was the music?
was that music, which
on
was
vinyl.
a bop, a slap. It was
And
fire.
a shutter.
Yeah.
And it was fire. All right. Best screenplay. Censor, Detention, The Night House, Saint Maud, or Violation.
It would be between the Night House and Saint Maud for me. I'm gonna say Saint Maud.
It is The Night House.
Fuck. At least I was close. At
Yeah.
least I had it narrowed down.
And I was like, what the fuck?
I just remembered that Rebecca Hall's dialogue in that movie was really like cutting. So that's what made me narrow it down to there.
Best director. We got Censor, The Night House, Come True, Titan, Saint Maud, and Last Night in Soho.
I would hope that it's Do Care Now with Titan.
It is
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright.
I don't think so.
And he was on the ceremony, so that was cool.
Oh, okay.
He popped up. He was like, "Oh,
I like Edgar Wright, but
hello.
I don't think for that movie.
I'm Sean, maker of the disc." All right, best supporting performance. Luke David Blum for Son, Jennifer for Saint Maud, Larry Fessenden for Jacob's Wife, Vincent Linden for Titan, Diana Rigg for Last Night in Soho, Bill Sage for Wrong Turn, Millicent Simmons for A Quiet Place Part 2, Jeremy T. Thomas for Antlers, and Suzanne Voss for Dementia Part 2.
I'm torn between the guy from Titan or Millicent Simmons from Quiet Place.
When Quiet Place popped up on this list, I was like, shit, that movie was that recently?
Yeah, it already feels like it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was.
Crazy. I'll go with Millicent Simmons.
That
is
the correct
correct.
answer. I was so stoked. And she came on and gave a speech, and I was like, good.
Well, now that
good
we're
for you.
talking about it and like the people that actually showed up for the awards, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have to actually check this out, because I was honestly just expecting it to be kind of like.
It's all zoomed. So, I mean, it's not great.
But I mean, still, it's still
Yeah.
cool that they're not just like, oh fuck, some like random ass award. At least they took the time to come in for a minute.
Yeah, and I guess one cool thing that they did is they sent him their award in pieces, and they had to put it together.
That's awesome. You love puzzles, so I'm
Yeah,
sure you're
I
a
do,
fan of
yeah.
that idea.
Best lead performance. John, go ahead and say that name for me on the top there.
It's Yahya Abdul Mateen II
There you
for
go, thank you.
Candyman.
Fucking nailed it, dude.
What? John, go ahead and read this category. I'm awful at pronouncing names.
Niam Algar for Censor, Morford Clark for Saint Maud, Barbara Crampton for Jacob's Wife, Rebecca Hall for The Night House, Thomas and Mackenzie for Last Night in Soho, Agatha Roussel for Titan, Madeline Sims Fewer for Violation, Julia Sarah Stone for Come True, and Anya Taylor-Joy for Last Night in Soho.
That was a lot of names. I'm just gonna guess Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
That is correct.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That movie also slaps, but is unnecessary, but slaps. The new Candyman.
Best series. I think this is going to be hard for you.
Okay. I
Brand
don't
new
watch TV.
Cherry Flavor, Chucky, Creep Show. I know what you did last summer. Didn't deserve a nod. And Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass.
That is correct. I was so
Good.
torn between that and
That
Chucky.
and Chucky, yeah. I would say I had like an equally good time for different reasons
Right,
with
yeah.
those shows.
All right, best foreign language: Detention, The Feast, Lamb, The Queen of Black Magic, and Titan.
My gut is just going to tell me to go with Titan.
That is the correct answer.
Well, I'm glad it won something.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
Okay, best streaming premiere movie. Kind of a weird category.
They got crazy categories.
The Boy Behind the Door, which I thought was cool to see nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Fear Street, 1666, Pickup 6. Lucky, The Power, and Violation.
I'll say Fear Street.
That is correct. Yeah, I
got that
really
one
wanted
wrong.
Boy Behind the Door. I think it's a superior movie to
No,
that.
I think it absolutely is, especially
But-
to 1666. Like they're definitely Pickup Stakes. They're definitely
Yeah.
Best first feature. Censor, My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. Saint Maud. Is that your stomach? Jesus. The Stylist. And The Vigil.
Oh fuck! Every movie on that list, besides The Stylist, I was a really big fan of. I'm gonna say Saint Maud one of them?
That is correct. Nice job. Okay, best limited release movie: Come True, Hurt in the Earth, PG, Psycho Gorman, and The Wolves Within. Sorry, Werewolves Within.
Can you repeat the first couple?
Come True, Hurt in the Earth, PG, Psycho Gorman, Werewolves Within.
Now my stomach's starting to make noise after yours did. It's like they're trying to talk to each other. They're hosting their own podcast.
Yeah.
Somebody say Jurassic Pork. I'm gonna say Psycho Gorman.
That is
That's
correct. Yeah.
Awesome. Love that this movie has gotten as much love as it has.
And last one, you're doing really good, dude.
Thanks.
Best wide release movie: Malignant, Candyman, Last Night in Soho, The Night House, and A Quiet Place Part 2.
I have a feeling they're going to go with Last Night in Soho, but I'm going to say A Quiet Place.
It's Malignant.
It was Malignant.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, like I texted you guys, I just recently watched... oh, awesome. Yeah, I just recently watched Brain Damage and Basket Case and realized that Malignant is basically those two movies mushed together.
Yeah.
And then with like a little giallo peppering on there.
For flavor.
That was fun because I did not shit the bed. So
You did not. You got the same. You got the same score that Tone did.
I'm afraid that may have been all the brain power I had in the tank today. And we still got trivia ahead.
So you got the same score that Tone did. Tone got 12 out of 16. We're not counting the best kill because it wasn't like you didn't have like a list to pick from.
I mean, that's what I would have picked anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all would have picked. I mean, we all went there immediately.
But I got 13.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to do an awards show that we know most of the movies.
Yeah, I know, right?
They showed previews for some of these other movies that I hadn't heard of, and they looked really good.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to check them out.
And I feel like that almost makes it harder because it makes it harder to decide between movies in those categories. Like in the Oscars, a lot of the time it's just like, well, I mean, which of these movies do I really think has a chance? And then the others are kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it becomes a lot easier to pick. But that was fun.
Yeah, it was cool. And the best part about it, streaming the way we did, was you got to skip like through everything. So I was like, give me the answers.
I'm gonna watch it now. And every time, right before they announce the winner for a category, I'm gonna guess it and then be like, yes. Nailed it.
You had some other Chop Talk stuff?
Yeah, I think we both had a couple of things. There apparently is a film that was announced for Peacock, starring Kevin Bacon, called They Them. It's supposed to come out on August 5th.
I saw a photo from this, but I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But what is with these movies? Us, them, they, them.
Nope.
But yeah, so apparently it is about a conversion camp where there's a slasher.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds potentially disastrously offensive to watch, but we'll see.
The Baconator. Love him.
Yeah.
And, the Prey trailer.
Prey. I think you said the Parade trailer. And I was like,
the Prey trailer.
Prey. Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is all I need to see from this movie, and I'm sold on it because, one, it looks like it's going to be shot gorgeously, which I wouldn't be surprised if it has the same team that Trachtenberg worked with on 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I recently watched. That movie slaps.
So fucking good, dude. It's fire.
Yeah, it is fire, and it's lit, and I think it looks great. I love the going like way back in time and doing that whole thing, and
it's such a good teaser.
Yeah, because it's
like,
literally
what,
just
30
like
seconds?
30 seconds, and that's it, and like no dialogue.
Yeah,
and I loved it.
Anyway, you had some other?
Oh, the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that apparently The Thing is being re-released for its 40th anniversary in June. Depending on when in June it's showing, maybe that would be something fun to do for my birthday. Yeah. I'm turning 30.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so you guys, you're like, that's old hat.
Well, he saw it for the 35th then?
Something along those lines. Yeah, I took.
I remember you went. Was it State?
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just doing like a showing.
Yeah, it might have just been a showing. Yeah.
Oh, I think it was when the Horrific Network used to do showings where they would pull off doing horror movies there. But yeah, that's all I had for the Choppity Chop talk. So glad we were able to take that ass and chop it open.
Yeah, so that went probably long enough, but we hope that you enjoyed that. We'll go ahead and move straight into trivia.
That Christmas house of wax, the fog, piranha. It's one of those, right? Right?
All right, John, play us a song from the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack.
The motion picture soundtrack.
Yeah.
Your trivia tune this week is Trivia.
This photograph is proof. Taking Back Sunday from Spider-Man, the motion picture soundtrack.
You can't pass up an opportunity to fucking do Taking Back Sunday. I'm sorry.
Sorry, this photograph is proof. I know you know.
Yeah.
By Taking Back Sunday.
Why is that on the movie?
It's on the soundtrack, and I know that because
Random.
the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack was the first CD I ever bought with my own money, and
it was one of mine
that
as well.
Soundtrack, if you'll forgive me for using this word, slaps.
It opens with Vindicated, and then it goes to there's like a train song that's fucking awful.
I was like, he's either gonna do it's
and then it's Gifts and Curses by Yellowcard, a song they wrote for the movie. that never
Is
played
it
in the movie.
the first one or the second one that has the Sum 41 song on it?
I think it's the second one because the first one it's the Chad Kroger.
And they say that a hero can save us.
Not gonna stand here.
I was like, you're either going to do that or you're going to do Jet Hold On.
Yeah.
Which I love that scene in the movie, but we'll get to talking about that. Let's get into some trivia.
Okay, great.
Let's triv it up.
We're playing the regular edition of Pass the Popcorn still, and each card has the opportunity for 5 points. If I read the year and the category, and whoever guesses, then that is 5 points. Any clue after that is 1 less point. I'll read to John. John's going to read to Anthony, and Anthony will read back to me.
In typical fashion.
In a fashion.
And then we're going to do quote and then straight down the card after that.
Yeah, that'll be cast, characters, and then the plot. John, you have a 1988 comedy.
88 comedy.
And for the record, John and Anthony tied last week. That puts John
At a tentative 3-peak streak.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and take that quote.
Okay, here you go. There's never been a ball player slept with me who didn't have the best year of his career.
Oh, it's Bull Durham.
That is correct.
How do you pull these out of your ass? What the fuck is Bull Durham?
Bull Durham, it's a...
Is it a Kevin Costner baseball movie?
No, it is not. No. Is he in it?
Yeah. He's top billing, brother.
Oh, he's not like the main star, though. It's a fucking... What's
Bull
his
Durham.
name?
So it's him and Susan Sarandon.
Well, no, but there's the main character. It's
Tom Hanks.
Jacob's Ladder. What's the fuck is it? What?
Oh, Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Tim Robinson?
Andy Dufresne crawled through a river of shit.
But according to that, it's not. Anyway, he got 4 points.
I'll take it.
Let's go.
Wow.
Keeping on his comedy train. 2004 comedy for you, Anthony.
Give me a quote.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Dodge, duck, dive, dip, dodge. It's dodgeball.
It is dodgeball. It doesn't list the whole title, which is a true underdog story.
Yeah. So good. Love that fucking movie, dude.
But 4 points for you.
All right,
Congrats.
killing it. Continuing with the comedy train.
Oh, shit. No.
Tone, you got a 2000 comedy.
Ooh, okay. I'll take a quote. Ooh,
The quote is, "You never told me about your cat milking days in Motown."
About your cat milking days in Motown?
Yeah. Right here in Motown. I used to milk cats for
That's the
a little
only
scratch.
thing. The only thing I can think of for milking cats is Meet the Parents.
It is Meet the Parents.
I was about to say, come on, dog.
I don't remember him
I
saying Motown.
referenced it in the
The
trivia
characters
episode.
are Gaylord Greg Fokker and ex-CIA agent Jack Burns.
I don't
have
remember the
nipples,
Motown
Greg.
part.
Can you milk me?
I remember that, yeah.
I almost
like-
said that as a follow-up, and I was like, no, that would just give it away.
John, you got a 1992 thriller.
92 thriller. Give me the quote.
What are you going to do? Arrest me for smoking?
I don't know if I've got this from the quote.
Okay.
Yeah, give me the cast.
Cast, Michael Douglas, and let's face it, your mom is no Sharon Stone.
Oh, what the fuck is this movie called? I know what it is now. I've referenced it on the show before.
I wouldn't know.
I was looking out of the corner of my eye, too.
Shit.
It's the hairy monster.
I don't remember what it's called.
The Zombiever. That's annoying because none of the other clues will help you, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. Because at this point, I said I know what it is. It's the movie where he like goes to McDonald's and like is complaining about a breakfast being over for like 2 minutes or whatever.
That's Pulp Fiction. He's talking about the Royale with cheese.
I know. I think that's a scene from Big Daddy.
Somebody get a Happy Meal.
He's like, no, I want breakfast, and like, yeah, it's an interesting movie.
That is a scene from Big Daddy.
It's
Who the fuck gets to 11 o'clock in the morning and is like, cool, now I want a Big Mac.
and he like loses his job and shit. It's like Postal kind of. Fuck.
Maybe
What
you
do I
don't
do
know it.
here?
Keep going for clues.
I think I'm just gonna have to pass because I'm otherwise I'm gonna sit here for hours thinking of the name, and I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, taking a 0, huh?
Yeah, is that like day in it or something?
It is Basic Instinct.
Ah.
Were you off completely?
I was off completely.
Oh.
That's why I was like, maybe ask for more clues because that might help you out.
Yeah.
Also, he did the whole.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
No,
I saw it out of the corner of my little eye, and I went, "That's hot."
Well, and what's undoubtedly going to bury me? 2002 horror.
Ooh. Are
Ooh.
you familiar with this genre?
I've never heard of this. I was talking about how the horror hashtag is like one that you're not supposed to use on Instagram anymore because it's like a self-harm thing or whatever. Well, I said that, and my boss, partially because of his, I don't know if it's because of his accent, but he was like, whore? He was like, horror is it? And I was like, well, yeah, horror would be bad, but I'm saying horror. And he's like, oh, horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, horror movies. Anyway, give me the first clue.
That's so stupid. I don't know. Anyway.
I can't imagine being stuck down a well all alone like that. How long could you survive?
Ooh, that's that ring sting.
It is
The ring.
The ring stand.
Check out our Ringu versus the Ring episode. A few episodes back now. In the early days of our YouTube journey, Tone, you have a 2000 drama.
Oh, I'm definitely going to need a quote, baby.
Your quote is, I would rather be a ghost drifting by your side as a condemned soul than enter heaven without you.
Hit me with it. Hit me with a... What?
Okay.
Oh, man. Go ahead and give me the cast there.
The cast is Chow Yun-Fat and Michelle Yeoh
Come on,
from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
baby.
Chow Yun-Fat,
Come on, baby.
Michelle Yeoh
A drama?
from 2000.
You know it?
Do I?
He knew fucking Bull Durham.
You
course
get
he knows
Basic
it.
Instinct.
That's true.
I don't know. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Holy shit, it is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Good fucking job.
I
knew putting the pressure on.
Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
All right. Which one did we do? How many rounds? We only did one round?
We did two. Well, one whole card.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Great. Well, John, you're losing.
Yeah,
and
sure
Anthony,
am.
you're winning. And I'm somewhere in the middle.
Sweet.
Okay, John, you got a 1984 comedy.
84 comedy?
Yep.
Go ahead and give me the quote.
Yeah, there's going to be a home run for you. The numbers all go to 11. Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
This is Spinal Tap.
That is correct, sir.
This is indeed Spinal Tap.
Nice job.
Anthony, you have a 2005 fantasy.
Give me the first clue, please.
It's clobbering time.
It might be.
You know, I'm thinking it's clobbering time.
I could.
Oh, man. Fantastic Four.
It is Fantastic Four.
Nice. These quote rates are getting fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Tony, you got a 1997 action film.
Okay. Go ahead and give me that quote, sir.
Quote is, somehow they managed to get every creep and freak in the universe on this one plane.
What is it? Action, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1997 action film.
Oh, it's so funny.
Didn't we?
No, you're thinking of a different movie because it's sort of similar to one from last week.
What?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Is that Con Air?
It is Con Air.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
it's a
hairdryer.
perfect pairing to watch with The Rock.
Yeah.
Nicolas
Well, I don't
Cage's
know him
beautiful
personally,
locks.
so I don't know if Dwayne would be willing to come over and watch movies with me.
Just slide into his DMs. Hey, you want to watch Con Air?
Yeah. All right. Well, John, you got 8. Anthony's at 12, and I'm at 11. And your next one is a 2004 comedy.
Go ahead and give me the quote.
These girls want to party with us. If they want to drink Merlot, we're drinking Merlot.
You got some.
Huh.
Damn. Hey, stranger things have happened.
They're happening very shortly on a week.
One episode.
Crazy, dude. One episode at a time.
Yep.
I've been watching 3, as you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I could do this. But 3 starts off so fucking good. I was like, oh my God, how... If 4 starts off this good, it's going to be tough.
And from what I've seen, it's supposed to be even horror-ier than the previous season.
Horror?
Yeah. But I was watching The Lost Boys, and the main character in that looks exactly like Billy from Stranger Things. Him and Dacker Montgomery or whatever. They have like the exact same appearance.
Michael?
If they want to drink Merlot, we're drinking Merlot.
Montgomery from A Series of Unfortunate Events.
I'm going to take the second clue.
Okay, your cast is Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church.
Is it... what the fuck is that movie?
Thomas Hayden Church. I'm a man like a dog.
It's the fucking wine movie. What the fuck is it called?
It's a fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Because he's like a wine reviewer or some stupid shit.
They know it.
Yeah, what the fuck is it called, though?
It's called Bark, 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 Bark.
Man, this is a doozy. Movies
Yeah.
I haven't thought of in years.
Come on, man. You got Bull Durham.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what you're going to do here.
Because I know the movie. I mean, obviously I know it, but what the fuck is it called?
Yeah. No,
You said that about Basic Instinct, though. And you were
Yeah, that
completely
one
off
that I was
base.
off, but this one is pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I can either confirm nor deny that.
Oh, it.
Johnny boy. I finished the Yours Cruelly.
Oh, yeah? How was it?
Fantastic. I loved it. I love her. It makes me want to cover the Elvira movies, so I think we should.
Yeah, I'm 100% down.
Once again, in order to prevent terrible things from happening, I'm going to take a pass.
Okay, that one is called Sideways.
Yeah. I wouldn't have gotten there.
Damn.
But it's the exact movie.
I
was
never in a
thinking of.
million years would have guessed. So
Yeah. That's
You've
what
gotten some very tough ones
Yeah.
this game.
I maybe would have gotten it from Paul Giamatti, but
Listen, I
Yeah.
knew the movie. It's
You
just I
Paul
didn't
Gia might
remember
have. You Paul Gia might not have.
Paul Giamatti could.
And then you have a 2006 drama film.
Give me the first clue, please.
Everything you have seen here has been an illusion.
That's super tough because it's very vague. What year did you say?
2006.
Fuck, there's two that it could easily be. Let me see.
I'm gonna have to go with the next clue. I can't risk it for that biscuit.
Paul Giamatti and Edward Norton.
That's so funny.
The Illusionist.
It is The Illusionist.
Nice.
I was gonna guess The Prestige, so I'm glad that I.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Took that
It's
next
either one
clue.
of two.
Yeah.
I think they were those old timey magics that came
What are the
out at
chances
same
that we
time.
get two Paul Giamattis? Watch, your next one's gonna be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm the Rhino.
What'd you get? 3 points?
Yes.
Yeah, I took
Okay.
2 clues.
Oh shit. Okay.
Are we tied?
No. Well,
Could be.
could be.
Mike could. Tone, you have a 2005 action film.
All right. Give me the quote.
The quote is,
I'm about to roll out.
"The night's as hot as hell. It's a lousy room in a lousy part of a lousy town."
Sin City.
It is Sin City.
Couldn't have been,
You tried to
I
throw
tried
him.
my best.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't have been
throw
more
him off.
perfect for me. Okay, so I got 4.
You did.
Nice. John, you're at 8. And Anthony and I are at 15. You have
Gentleman's
a
8.
You had a 1977 sci-fi movie. Back in your wheelhouse, brother.
Oh, I want to rip so hard right now.
Do it. Beyblade.
I mean, if I'm gonna come back, I have to start taking some big risks because I've already gotten some answers right, so who fucking
The biscuit
cares?
is just
so
lying
I'm just
there.
gonna say Star Wars: A New Hope.
Ooh, that is incorrect.
What is it?
is Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
It is what it is.
What year was it?
77.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense then.
Yeah.
Fuck. And you were tangential because Lucas and
Yeah.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Anthony, you have a 2003 drama film.
give me the first clue.
If you are fighting, stop fighting. If you are marching, stop marching. Come back to me.
Ooh.
This one's a tough one. All I remember from this movie is the poster.
What did you say the year and the category was?
2003 drama.
Cold Mountain.
It is Cold Mountain. What a fucking pull. Fucking high foot 5.
Wow.
I have absolutely no fucking clue how I knew that. That's
Fucking
Crazy.
impressive.
Because I just knew that it was like some sort of Civil War drama or something about Nicole Kidman. Is she in it?
Yeah.
Is she in the cast?
And
Okay.
Renee Zellweger.
I have no fucking idea what that movie is.
And Tom Cruise.
I have absolutely no clue. I got that. You get a 1977 comedy. Oh, sorry, 1997 comedy.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead and give me the quote.
Your quote is, "You kissed him at my parents' house on my wedding day."
Oh God.
I think I know this one, but
On the day of my daughter's wedding.
it'd be a tough sell.
97.
1997 comedy.
How many points did you get on that last one? 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the cast.
The cast is Julia Roberts and Dermot Mulroney.
My best friend's wedding.
It is my best friend's wedding.
Saw that in theaters with my mom and my sisters. So
After the first clue, I would have been on the fence between My Best Friend's Wedding and Runaway Bride.
super great. Super great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Anthony, you're back winning. John, you got 8. Anthony, you got 19, and I got 18. Your last one, John, is a 1976 drama.
76 drama. Go ahead and give me the quote.
Okay. Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion sounds like a damn monster movie.
Rocky.
That is correct. Nice
I
job.
broke double digits.
You know what I just noticed back here?
Nope.
Con Air.
Oh, shit. That's my blow dryer brand.
Yeah.
All right.
Anthony, you have
keep going.
a 1986 drama.
Give me the first clue, please.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
What year?
86. Don't know if you've seen this.
Can you give me the next clue?
The cast is Tom Cruise and Paul Newman.
Is that the salad dressing Mo?
Think so?
Money won is
Twice as sweet as money earned.
Also, don't taste money because it's hella dirty.
Yeah, bad for you.
Coke and semen all over it.
You can get an STD. Fuck. I'm having that situation where I'm like, I know the movie you're talking about, but I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called.
Mm.
So I'm just gonna say Cocktail.
It's The Color of Money.
Yeah, I was never
Sequel to Hustlers.
Is it?
Yeah, it was directed by Martin Scorsese.
I didn't know any of that.
That's funny because my first guess was gonna be Casino because I just thought about winning money.
Yeah.
Tone, you have a 1990 drama film.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the quote.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Why? 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 Why?
Throwing him a curveball.
Why?
I want to say Goodfellas.
It is Goodfellas.
Okay.
How
I
are
knew
you
as soon
gonna?
as he
How am I
started
gonna
reacting, I was like, in my head, I was like, shut the fuck up, John. This is your favorite movie. Don't have any reaction.
I had the feeling, but I can't. I know that. I think that's how the movie starts, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's the very first line.
Far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be.
Well, it's technically not the very first line because there's a scene right before it. But how is it gonna just double dick me down and do back-to-back Scorsese when I've been getting shit like fucking Sideways and Basic Instinct?
Basic bitch.
Well, Anthony, you got 19. I got 22, and John, you got a gentleman's 12.
Well, all good things must come to an end.
Yep.
For both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Thought he was gonna leave me hanging for a second.
For some
take
reason,
back
I thought
that
you were talking to him
congratulations.
about losing the streak. I was like, all right. You want me to take this?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
No, I wanted to keep him.
That's gonna wrap it up for trivia. If you
Yeah.
want more trivia, John.
You can head over to patreon.com/Porcelain Peak where you can get hours and hours of additional bonus content like our weekly trivia bonus episodes where we come up with cool ideas to quiz each other on for fun stuffs. Your quiz this week was
Famous Sam's.
Yeah, Famous Sam's was a good time. Mine was guess the horror film from the reworked rom-com plot.
Yeah, it was a great quiz. A little too much wordplay for my taste.
It was a lot of fun.
Very rom-complicated.
And then yours.
And mine was Name That Steve King Movie based on the funny, vague Letterboxd review, which you guys did very well on. And it was all 3 quizzes were a ton of fun. But we say that every damn week, so
yeah, so you can
tune the fuck in.
Yeah, next week they're gonna be awful.
You can get that for $5 a month. For $10 a month, you can get access to our /Piece Theater commentary tracks. The last one that we did was for
Army of Darkness.
Army of Dorkness.
Dorkness, yep.
And then we'll also be dropping another one this month for Spider-Man 3, which will be a total blast. I haven't watched Spider-Man 3 in a minute, but last time I watched it, I remember having a good time with it because I knew what to expect.
I feel like watching it together, we're gonna have a much better time than if we sat alone and tried to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Also, for that tier, you can get access to a print that is designed every month by Anthony Silva.
This month's print is What If, speaking of Spider-Man 3, Ash Williams from Evil Dead was in the Spider-Man dance scene where he comes out of with the suit on, and so check it out. It's pretty cool.
Lost some limbs.
Yeah, faux show.
Then for $20 a month, you can join our producer tier where you get early access to the episodes. You get a shirt every 6 months, also designed by Anthony Silva. And you get the ability to help us come up with cool ideas for the show. On top of that, we should also mention we have a new producer.
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
Steven, what was it?
Vayu.
Yeah. Thank you, Steven, for increasing your pledge. Everybody, y'all have the option to do that, but you don't have to. But Steven, I think that you are just a really, really cool dude, and I think we should just give him a shout out in general just for being all around cool. But speaking of shirts, because you mentioned them briefly, I did want to once again announce that we have 2 new shirts in the shop, which is now at porcelainpeakshop.com, which is much easier than whatever the fuck goobly gobbly URL we had before. But head on over there. We have our Evil Dead, They'll Suck Your Soul Necronomicon tee, and we have our hot seller right now, which is our Horror Is For Everyone t-shirt. The proceeds for May's purchases for that are going to ACLU, because with the advancements in scientific technology to where we are making fake meat, we may soon no longer have to have cows forced to reproduce, and we think that same right should be extended to human beings. So all that money going to the ACLU, supporting those kind of rights. Next month, we're thinking about doing something maybe Pride related, or whatever you guys feel. We're always open to suggestions for where you would like that money to go. But I did want to give a specific shout out to my partner Adrian and her sister, who both got their Horror Is For Everyone shirts in the mail yesterday and sent me pictures.
Right on, Adrian and her sister
Emily.
Right
on, Emily. And Emily also posted on Facebook pictures of the shirt and tagged us and shouted out the podcast. So if you're on Facebook, which we are, I keep it active now.
Poor you, man.
Yeah.
It's the worst part of your job.
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, finish. I feel like I commandeered your thing. Do you have anything else to say?
All of the episodes that you get will be ad-free access as well. So ads that are upcoming right now, you will not get on Patreon.
Roll them.
Autobots, roll them.
Head on over to porcelainpeakshop.com and purchase some merch to help support the show, or purchase our Horror Is For Everyone shirt to support new causes every month. This month we are donating all proceeds from this shirt to ACLU, because we believe in a person's right to the autonomy of their own fucking body. Share a picture with your merch on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook and we will give you a shout out on a future episode. Again, that's porcelainpeakshop.com to help support the show and look fly as hell in the process. Thanks to everyone for watching. Now back to Tone, John, and Anthony.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
Vindicated! I am selfish! I am wrong!
Thwip, thwip, motherfucker. We're talking about Spider-Man 2.
Good, yeah.
And that boy's got some pipes on him.
I like
Mr.
that you both said
Dashboard
I'm
Confessional.
That's true. You guys are wrong.
Yeah, so I think originally the idea behind this episode was that we were going to be talking about Firestarter 84 versus Firestarter 2022. We said, fuck those movies because they sucked, to spoil a little bit of what we're going to be talking about in Final Cut.
About summed it up.
Yeah, and instead we are going to spend a little bit more time delving into Spider-Man 2 because it is, in my opinion, one of the best superhero movies and one of Raimi's best films. So I think it is
and one of the best Spider-Man movies.
And one of the best Spider-Man movies, and God, are there a lot of Spider-Man movies now.
Yeah. Before we jump in, I would just say, as far as Raimi's career goes, this is kind of his big boom into the public eye. Right?
Yeah.
So he had a big horror following and tried to do some other movies that didn't really make too much money. This kind of put him on the map as far as that goes with 1, 2, and then 3 had some problems, and we can talk a little bit about that if you want to, but this is definitely his 3 highest grossing movies and kind of the height financially, and I think critically to some extent of his career, because at least the first 2 are very high.
Yeah, 2's in the 90s, I know, at least on Rotten. But yeah, I mean, and you can tell, we've talked about this in previous episodes, that Raimi had been wanting to do a comic book project for a long time, whether that was Batman or Spider-Man, and I think his obvious love for the pulpiness of comic books and the bright, colorful, everything's kind of goofy world of comic books really translates into these movies, especially when you see how kind of homogenized the MCU has become, or has always really been, outside of a couple movies. When you go back and watch these Raimi Spider-Man films, that's where you really, I think, for me, like, that was the first time that I really realized his style was there, because it had been a while since I had watched those movies, and then I watched Evil Dead, and I was like, man, these movies are crazy and kooky, and like they didn't remind me of Spider-Man. And then going back and rewatching these movies, I was like, oh, there's so much Raimi just like bleeding into every part of these movies, including Bruce Campbell cameoing as a different character in every one.
Yeah. And we talked about how they reutilized some footage from Darkman.
Right.
In this, and since then, I don't know if it's the nanobots out here stealing my information and shit, but I've been getting recommended a bunch of lists on YouTube that all are like movies you didn't know reutilized footage from other films, and like Spider-Man is always in like the thumbnail.
Yeah,
That's
apparently
so
the reason
funny.
they did that was because they were just decided last minute that they needed to have a dream sequence to kind of show that Peter was changing physically in the first movie, and the studio was like, we're not going to give you any more money for that, and so they just had to piece it together and make it, and I think that's absolutely insane with how much that money that movie ended up making. But talking about Spider-Man 2, really, I think this is where Raimi got to do, because originally in Spider-Man 1 he wanted to do Doc Ock, Green Goblin together in the same movie, and he was convinced to split it into 2 movies, and this is where I really think he got to do like everything in his toolbox in terms of making a big spectacle movie,
which is crazy because then they had so much interference with 3 that it ruined his experience.
Well, I think that was the beginning of people realizing that Sony is just a piece of shit studio to make movies for, because they just can't not interfere with your projects no matter how much success you've had leading up to that. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind tells Sam Raimi what to do after Spider-Man 1 and 2, but something that I think is interesting when it comes to Raimi collaborations with this movie is that Danny Elfman did not do the complete score for this movie. Spider-Man 2 is where Elfman and Raimi had a falling out. According to Elfman, in a quote, he said he had never seen a person he knew so well turn into such a like dark, evil person. Talking about Sam Raimi. I don't know exactly what happened, and nobody seems to, but they did eventually. So then Christopher Young came in and finished the score, and then also scored Spider-Man 3. But Elfman and Raimi reunited for Oz the Great and Powerful, so obviously they're and obviously for Doctor Strange. So they were able to patch up whatever beef they had. It just kind of broke my heart a little bit to hear someone I love as much as Elfman say that he had negative feelings towards someone I love as much as Raimi, especially since Raimi seems like such a fucking teddy bear when you hear him in interviews and stuff.
Probably pressure, dude.
I think it was just cracking. I mean, if you think
I couldn't imagine trying to put a movie like this together at the time, like in the early 2000s when these movies were coming out. Like, this was doing this really for the first time. You had things like Superman and Batman, but like this was the biggest kind of spectacle superhero movie. Now we're all used to this shit.
This with the X-Men movies were like at the time, and those were massive.
Yeah, and I think
mean,
the success of
Blade
these
as
movies
well.
specifically is why we have the MCU. I mean, yeah, X-Men was successful, but that tone I feel like doesn't really carry over as much into what the MCU became. But I do feel like a lot of what these movies established is what the MCU took from. And Feige was involved in these movies, and so he was starting early on, and he was involved in these movies before they became part of the whole MCU thing. But
I think a lot of that's level like comedic relief that you get in some of these films. I mean, some of it intentional, some of it not. But like when in Spider-Man 1, when he goes to try to figure out how to use his webs, like the
go web go fly.
yeah, and then like him going to
Shazam.
swing and then falling, like all that shit
Tally-ho.
is super funny.
Yeah,
I feel like the comedy, at least in this and two, doesn't feel misplaced. A lot of times in the MCU, we've talked about how it's like, why did you put that there? And undercut scenes, I don't feel like that happens in this.
Well, I think the thing that these movies really, really capture that the MCU kind of seems to have a bit more of a problem with is that as goofy and humor-filled as the MCU movies want to be, a lot of the time the humor feels misplaced because it kind of pulls you out of the movie. It feels like it's not part of the world that they're in. A good example, and I forget who made this comparison, but it was the scene when Otto is introducing himself to Tom Holland and Zendaya and Ned in the new movie in No Way Home, and they all bust up laughing when he says his name is Otto Octavius, which kind of takes you out of the movie of like, yeah, but in the Raimi movies, there's nothing funny about that. He's like a respected science guy, and it's because people just have weird names. The science, much like a Bill Nye, if you will. He is like everything in those movies is goofy, but it's not pointing it out and saying this is goofy. It's part of how that world functions. You have characters like J. Jonah Jameson who don't exist as human beings in real life, really, but work in these movies because his performance is fucking phenomenal. J.K. Simmons.
Dude,
and he gets even more opportunity in this movie to really shine. And if you watch the 2.1 version of this, there's even more of him because there's the deleted scene where he puts on the Spider-Man suit and he's jumping around on the table like doing Spider-Man moves, and Peter has to like come back and like steal it from him.
The thief!
Yeah. But you get parts like with Peter in the elevator where he's doing the whole riffing thing about like, oh, it rides up in the crotch a little.
Yeah.
Like just where he's just kind of improvising with the guy. That feels like Spider-Man, and that's kind of where I wanted. I think a lot of people, that was like the little glimpses into what makes Spider-Man fun that they expanded on later, was because really this movie does deal with some really, really heavy themes, and so the comedy I don't think is as strong as in some of the newer Spider-Man movies in terms of it being like hit you in the face with comedy constantly. This is more about like, let's explore like the deepest depths of this character, and that's what Raimi really wanted to do with 2, was like, okay, now that we've established the character in 1, now we can really go into, is his responsibility going to make it so that he can't have the things that he wants in life, which is the big theme in the movie, is like, can he be Spider-Man or can he be Spider-Man no more? You know, just riffing directly, an exact shot from the comic where he stops being Spider-Man.
I think that
go ahead.
I think that there's a direct correlation between our hero's struggle and our villain's struggle,
Which always makes for the best. And
Yeah.
Raimi's great at doing, at least in these first 2 movies, great at doing that.
Yeah, because Peter's trying to figure out if he can truly live his life and also be Spider-Man, and trying to, chase after the woman that he loves. And on the other hand, you have Otto, who's, basically accidentally murdered his own wife.
Yeah, and is established from the beginning to be very like-minded with Peter, so it's almost like they're in the same starting place and they go different directions. Yeah, because of what happens. Like if Peter were to lose MJ in Spider-Man 1 on that bridge scene, he could very well be a villain in Spider-Man 2. Like if they decided to do the symbiote in Spider-Man 2 because MJ had died or something. You see a little bit of that in Spider-Man 3 when he's fighting Sandman after he finds out that he killed Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
He goes ham on him. And so, yeah, I think that one, Alfred Molina's performance really, I think, saves that character, because Doc Ock, that's not the Doc Ock character really from the comics, and he's
more reserved and more likable.
Well, and he's closer even to the Lizard, which is a scientist who, because of an accident of his own making, he's doing his Bill Nye shit, and the science just goes awry, and he gets tentacle arms. That's another thing about this movie that is incredible is how much of it is done practically with the Doc Ock arms, which really brings me to one of the best scenes ever put to cinema, which is the hospital scene when his arms first wake up.
Yeah,
and
such a rainy scene.
Straight up. Yeah, you even get like Evil Dead cam, but with the tentacles. John Landis shows up in that scene as one of the doctors, and he also shows up as a doctor in Darkman. So a little cameo.
Docking.
Yeah.
Doc Landy.
And yeah, it's a super horror scene, very Raimi, but the fact that they had like 4 puppeteers per arm and they all had names that Alfred Molina named them. I think it was Harry, Larry, Flo, and Mo were the names of the tentacles. And he named them based on who the puppeteers were that controlled them and what they like did for them. So Flo was the motherly one because it's the one that would like put his glasses on and give him his drink to drink and stuff. And seeing that stuff, like seeing a real arm tentacle thing, this 13-foot long articulated tentacle come up and like do practical effects with him, it's something that I really missed from No Way Home, because they obviously were just like, well, we're just going to do it all in CG.
Right. Yeah. And I think even Molina talked about it, or Tom Holland talked about it in an interview where it's like, yeah, they can
it's
do
just him on
want.
a harness and he's just moving around like that. Yeah.
I will say that it does kind of have a similar plot to the first one. Like the plot between 1 and 2 are very similar, even to the point where he's losing his, or he doesn't have powers and then has to learn how to do his powers again. So we are kind of seeing these similarities.
We're getting a repeat pretty quickly.
Yeah, but what I think the difference is that in the first one, Spider-Man is forced upon him. In this one, he has to choose to be Spider-Man. Yeah. And I really like...
You are who you choose to be.
And so I was like... At first, I was like, oh, this is kind of the same movie. And then once he starts dealing with that internalization, I was like, okay, I'm on board.
How do you guys feel about the idea in this movie that him having an existential crisis, like being depressed, makes his powers go away? Because I guess originally in the script, the idea was going to be that Doc Ock put an inhibitor chip on him, that chip from the back of his neck, and that's why his powers go away. And they decided to make it more of like he's depressed, and so it's performance anxiety. Yeah. I mean, I think it very directly translates to like literally a million real life things. So to me, it makes sense that if they're making his powers more biological, down to even having the web shooters be part of his body, I don't know how I do it. It's like, it's like breathing. You don't think about it. That if they're going to make him that like biologically tied to his powers and everything, then I think it totally makes sense that if he's sick, or because that's been a thing in the comics, sometimes he would get sick and his powers would start tweaking out and he wouldn't be able to do different things. So he'd start slipping down walls and stuff. So,
I agree with that sentiment. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of emotional impact in this, and I think that his relationship with Osborn isn't quite the same as it is in this. I feel like this is more of like kindred spirits, whereas Osborn is a megalomaniacal
you get some pretty
asshole before all of the Green Goblin shit.
Yeah.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Speaking of Osborns, you get some pretty hammy, sulking acting from James Franco in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't change anything. He's ruined me. Putting on his fucking glasses or whatever.
It's kind of the vibe of the whole movie, though.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the romance? Because that's really the central part of all 3 of these movies. And that's another thing that I would say is kind of repetitive, is that, and this is repetitive in just Sam Raimi's repertoire, up until I would say like his newer stuff or whatever. But the damsel in distress at the end, you have MJ on the bridge in the first one. You have her in the water lab, which by the way looks exactly the same as Darkman's like river lab or whatever. And then in the third one, she's hanging from the web up in the buildings or whatever. And then also in Darkman, you have Frances McDormand like hanging from the scaffolding.
Yeah, I think that's kind of common with him, aside from just like that specific shot.
I wonder how much of that was
here.
him just being like, that's a classic comic book thing.
But I think it's also the like the I'm a monster, you can't be with me kind of thing. He does it in Doctor Strange. Like it's literally the same thing.
Speaking of Strange, there's a huge Doctor Strange reference in this when they're talking about what Doc Ock's going to be called, and he's like, how about Doctor Strange? He's like, oh, it's taken.
Yeah.
And apparently there's another one where there's an address being given over the like phone or radio or something at some point, and they say that it's Bleecker Street, which is where Doctor Strange
the Sanctum
lives.
is.
Yeah.
That's funny. I feel like the romance to me, and it's been a long time since I've seen the first one, but aren't her and Peter not really that close?
They were neighbors, but they were never really close in the first one.
And then in this one, they really make it seem like they're like best friends. And we never actually see that relationship develop. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because she knows he's Spider-Man, but I just felt a little off. And I was like, they don't really hang out. And so that to me was a little bit weird. Outside of that, I like the progression, and when we get there, it's fine. It just doesn't make sense to start with.
Well, I think that, I mean, if you go back to the first one, at the end, he's like, I can't be with you. Like, they get to the point where they're considering like a relationship.
Smashing, yeah.
And he says, no, I can't do this. I have too much going on. And I think at that point, they kick off a friendship. And it's like 2 or 3 years later.
Imagine getting a surprise boner in the Spider-Man suit.
It'd be
I actually cosplayed as Spider-Man, and that was something that I very much had to be aware of.
Yeah.
Was that kind of thing happening.
But one of those Hollywood cocksock things.
Yeah, well, something that we definitely got to talk about if we're talking about Spider-Man 2 is that fucking train fight, because it is still probably the best hero versus villain comic book fight, even though there's no elevated trains in New York. But Raimi did say that he wanted this to be an idealized version of New York, so they took the trains from Chicago and had them be in New York. But I still think that this scene is incredible. The little kids that give him his mask back are Tobey Maguire's half-brothers.
Oh, that's cool.
I still can't help but think of the memes that have come from this movie. There's the pizza time, and then there's the
isn't like Joey Diaz or something?
He is. Yeah.
I was like, what the
Joey
fuck?
Coco Diaz, and then there there's a video where they just cut him like jumping down and like trying to stop the train with the boards.
Oh,
and then he jumps back up. He's like, got any more bright ideas? He's like, a few. And then he jumps down and does it again.
Yeah, that guy's such a dick. But again, this is a scene very similar to the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like,
mess with one of us, you mess with all of
I was
us.
like, oh, okay, well.
You stole that guy's pizza.
Yeah, Sam used it as a blueprint, and then was like, let's do it bigger.
I always wondered, and I guess this is an homage to the 60s cartoon or whatever, but I was like, how the fuck did he end up in that broom closet in Emily Deschanel's workplace? Like, did he... So I assume maybe he crawled through the air ducts like it was Die Hard.
Yeah.
And then dropped down and was getting changed. It's a funny moment anyway. But I always thought also, if you webbed up that pizza, nobody's going to fucking eat that when they get that pizza. There's a splooge all over my pizza.
What the fuck is going on, man?
So wait, how is it a reference to the 60s?
Oh, because he would always change in a broom closet.
Oh, okay. So he
would run into a broom closet and change into Spider-Man or whatever.
That makes sense. I ain't paying for those.
But yeah, I mean, I love this movie. Every time I go back to it, I feel like I see more Raimi-isms, because especially after talking like this, like I was counting the number of like snap zooms from the beginning.
Dutchies.
The weird extras that just have too much time to be over dramatic. Like, it's a web. It's Spider-Man. And then like the violinist lady, like, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And I'm gonna stop there because it's gonna get tasteless. But
I think that all of the performances are really good. I mean, Kirsten Dunst is great. Aunt May is fantastic. Obviously,
Rosemary Harris is heartbreaking in these movies.
J.K. Simmons, I mean, I don't know if I could see anybody else really playing him, which is probably why they just brought him back.
Yeah.
Before the multiverse stuff, they're just like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just bring him back as that character. He's so fucking good.
He, like, for the longest time, I could not watch other stuff with him in it because it just weirded me out that he wasn't that character. And now I'm so used to him as J.K. Simmons that I like separate them in my mind. I'm like, there's J. Jonah Jameson and there's J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Something else that I do, speaking of Jamesons, I do like that Mary Jane does get with John Jameson, the son, because to me, it's so relatable. And so Spider-Man, to have him have that kind of like, because he's Spider-Man, he has to watch the love of his life, like potentially go on to get married and do so much of what makes of the whole responsibility aspect of Spider-Man is done so well in these movies that really just did not carry over into the Andrew Garfield movies. Because really in that, he's just like a vengeful piece of shit who's just like kicking the shit out of people and then decides he's going to become Spider-Man at some point. And the Holland ones took 3 movies to basically tell an origin story. In these, it's like you really feel like the character is plumbing the depths of some of the like really great comic book stories. And I mean, you'll hear our thoughts on Spider-Man 3 when we do the commentary track, but I love all 3 movies. I just think that 3 has a plethora more problems than the first 2 movies do.
Yeah.
Is 2 your favorite as well?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not even close. I mean,
it's also Maguire and Raimi's favorite of the trilogy. They've said that they like it quite a bit more than the first and the third.
I feel like the emotional weight is better. I feel like Alfred Molina is a fucking a powerhouse to play off of, and it really brings out probably the best performance from Tobey in the series as well. Just he feels so much more like downtrodden and like regretting what he has to deal with because it's ruining his real life, but realizing that if he plays his cards right, he can try to balance both.
Yeah, and the soundtrack slaps.
Yeah, it's Fueg.
Does it?
So if you had to rate this out of 5 thwips, what would you rate it?
I think looking back at all of the Spider-Man movies that have come out, there are 3 that are 5s. There is I thought No Way Home was a 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's the newest one.
Into the Spider-Verse is 100% a 5.
Yep.
Biggest 5 of the list, and this one is the other 5.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with the scores on all 3 of those movies you just mentioned. So, which is no surprise.
How you feeling, baby?
I'll probably say 4.5.
Of course you would.
There you go.
You try so
Give me
hard
your
to be someone.
Give me your reasoning.
Well, I think just because of some of the repetition that we're seeing based from just 1 to 2, and then, I mean, if you look at it more, even just with Sam Raimi in general.
So you say an Evil Dead 2 is not a 5?
I didn't say that.
He's
Talking
not,
about repetition.
well, he's knocking half a star off because there's a severe lack of Topher Grace in this movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. So then Spider-Man 3 is a 5 then.
Fire. Speaking of fire. No, I mean, I really like this movie.
Yeah. I mean, 4.5 is a great score.
Still, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 9. It's a great score.
You're a 9.
And I think if it wasn't
Out of 9?
if it wasn't 8 o'clock p.m. or is that an hour behind? Is it 9 o'clock p.m. now?
That clock don't work at all.
Oh shit!
Yes, it does. It's at least right twice a day. It's 9, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say knock off half a star for the hour. He's
That
a little
feels
sleepy.
good. Yeah, I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot, and I wish that we were getting a 4, but it looks like we're going to get an amazing 3 instead.
I mean, we said it during our review of No Way Home. I mean, Andrew Garfield was the show stealer in that movie.
Yeah.
And it seems like if they make another film for him, it's going to be a different beast.
It does make me happy though watching this movie and knowing that they didn't ruin Toby's storyline bringing him back. Like it feels like I can definitely know what happens in No Way Home and be like, yeah, that fits in with where his character was going and everything, and like what we maybe would have seen if we had kept going with Raimi's movies. But yeah, let's start the fire, I guess. Let's get this fire started.
John, light her up.
What do you know? I asked for final cut, and I got it.
We made the mistake of deciding to watch Firestarter and Firestarter. So, one of my friends, big horror fan, Nick, he loves all kinds of shit, right? So I asked him if he'd seen this, or the original one anyway, and he said, yeah, he loves it. And I said, well, why? Because I've heard that.
That's why.
Well, because I heard it was bad, because this is before I had seen the movie. And he said, nostalgia. And I was like, okay, I could see that. And I think that that's a pretty fair reason. I think that there's definitely movies that we love because of that. So that's all I have as far as people liking this movie.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I think I gave it like 3 stars, the original, but it is a movie that has a pretty banging opening and then is just complete death for like the next hour of the movie.
Well, because I mean, it's like, let's go. And I was like, oh, this is kind of exciting.
And then it just slows way the fuck down, which in the new movie, they decided to trim all that shit out, and it just makes for somehow a less riveting movie and a less interesting movie, and a movie that pissed me off in some places and made me want to spit my popcorn into Zac Efron's gorgeous fucking 6-pack abs. But yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think that when you break it down, I think that Firestarter from '84 it's an okay movie at best, but
it feels like a Stephen King TV movie.
Yeah, and it fails at the one thing that you want, and I think both movies suffer from this. It fails at the one thing that you want from a bad horror movie, which is like fun, like camp, or anything to latch onto. It's just bad. Yeah. It's boring, and if your movie is boring, you've lost me.
The one thing that I will say that the original Firestarter has in spades is really good practical fire effects, and the new movie just takes all of the big scale and scope that they pulled off with real fire in the original and makes everything so much smaller and more contained. And frankly, and this makes sense, it's kind of funny to see how Stranger Things, one of their huge inspirations was specifically Firestarter. both the 80s movie and the book. And then seeing the new movie feels so much like a Stranger Things ripoff. It's kind of interesting how now it's become harder to make Stephen King adaptations that don't feel like Stranger Things, but it's possible. Mike Flanagan made Dr. Sleep. Like, you can still make a good, stylish Stephen King horror movie that doesn't feel like Stranger Things. And the original, I love seeing lots of people obviously in big fire suits and flame retardant gel and like running around on fire. That was cool. But even Drew Barrymore didn't really turn in a good performance in the movie, and she's usually great even when she's young, like in E.T. She's cute, but she's not. I mean, she's basically sounds like she's just reading lines off of like a sheet in front of her, and then
her line reads, especially in that cabin, when I forget what they say, and she's like, "Well, anyway."
Yeah, and then
like,
David
right.
Keith, I think, is just way too hammy, and so it's hard to really.
What else is he from?
What I ended up recognizing him from is he is Daredevil's dad from the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. That's so probably not where you recognize him from, but
it's a bad connection.
That's what I
start
recognize him
with.
from. Midway through the movie, I was like, David Keith, Daredevil? Yep, same guy. But you also have George C. Scott, who was unfortunately cast as a Native American man in this movie and is not Native American, which they did remedy in the new movie.
Fun. We love this.
You have a little bit of Martin Sheen for who God knows what reason in that movie.
I know. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
But
so the new one suffers from a whole new slew of problems in the dialogue. It's some of the worst dialogue I've heard in a while.
When she says, "Liar, liar, pants on fire," and then lights that chick on fire, that's when I was like, I had already given up on the movie 40 minutes in for the
cat massacre,
extended animal cruelty with an orange cat,
know.
which I was having as a person who has an orange cat. I was very upset to see that, and they extend it for quite a long time in the movie, and you're like, okay, well, then they bring it back for a scene that really, if they had removed both scenes, it would have made no fucking difference in the movie, and that kind of scene doesn't exist in the original, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's from the book, but then I've heard people say that the new movie is way different from the book. So I'm like, then what was the point of making this movie? Because if you're not going to stick closer to the book, or you're not going to do things that make the movie more exciting or interesting, then why the fuck did you make the movie? I also can't buy Zac Efron as a dad character, especially when the first scene they show him with, they got to make sure to have the camera pan down to his, like I said, his ridiculous abs. And the girl being aged up, I think, doesn't work, because the fact that she is so young and innocent in the original one makes it kind of scarier when she goes crazy with her powers. In this, she just felt like 11.
Yeah.
Like a diet 11. The whole movie ending takes place in like a boring ass like neon lit facility.
Well, and
that looks like Stranger Things.
The lady who's the head of that
was Mr. Robot.
Yeah, was awful.
She didn't blink, and it was freaking me the fuck out for the whole movie. And I was like, did she do that in Mr. Robot? I don't remember.
Yeah, but she was just,
I
she was
hated
just
her.
bad.
She was terrible.
Her lines were awful. Her delivery was awful. Because at least Zac Efron tried.
Yeah, I didn't think that his performance was bad. I just don't like. It makes me feel old to watch the guy that I watched in High School Musical now playing somebody's dad.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but he at least put in an attempt.
Yeah,
and I feel like the young girl, I don't know what her name is, but I feel like she also put in an attempt.
Not going to be a star-making performance for her.
I doubt it, but the auxiliary characters. What's Red Foreman? Red Foreman in the fucking sand.
5 seconds and does the narration in the beginning. I was like, you're gonna really put him in this movie and only have him here for like a 30-second scene?
Yeah,
ridiculous. This movie is just dumb as shit. I would call it flame retardant.
I don't like that at all.
He's like,
if you will.
I'm not a huge fan either of that or this movie. I was fucking bored, dude.
Yeah.
The only thing that's good about it, like I said earlier, is that the John Carpenter score is fantastic and does not suit this movie whatsoever.
It's on vinyl, and I thought about buying it.
I would. It's a great score. And I want to support John Carpenter doing dope music for other stuff. Apparently, the reason that he was attached to this in the first place was because he was... I know you were like, one of you was like, didn't John Carpenter do the original? He was supposed to, and then he ended up... Because The Thing bombed when it came out, they were like, never mind, we don't want you to do it. Which would have made probably a much better movie.
Meanwhile, in the future, when The Thing is considered to be one of the best horror movies of all time...
Yeah, now he's like, I'll come back and do your music.
Yeah.
But yeah, these movies suck. I would highly recommend... just steering way clear of both.
But
you don't need to watch the original, even if you're like, I gotta understand why some people like it. They're dumb. That's why they like it.
If you're
Okay.
interested, they are on Peacock. So you can watch them right meow.
Yeah, I watched it in theaters.
Oh God,
I
I'm so
Ashley-
glad I had stuff come up.
Yes, I took Ashley the intern with me when the movie was still listed on Rotten Tomatoes as having like a 64, and then promptly fell off a fucking cliff.
You walk out of the movie and it's
at
now
a
like
solid
6% or something.
It's at a solid 6% now. It was at 22 when I left the movie, and it is now at a 6.
That's all these people watching it for free at home and being like,
Nah,
bro.
It's just horrible.
Fire stop.
It is a
this was
bad
a fire
movie,
stopper, yeah.
wall to wall. Like I said, the only thing that was really entertaining was the blood effect when Zac
Right
Efron
before
would
it
push.
happened, I was like, don't make him bleed from his nose because it's going to feel like Stranger Things. Make him bleed from his eyes. And then he started bleeding from his eyes. And I was like,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. You at least did the one thing that I was like, that's a creative choice.
I like the idea of his power, like the push.
Yeah, the small family dynamic in the beginning was the best part of the movie,
Yeah.
and then it just goes nowhere.
Yeah. And they could have easily done something really interesting with it. And
We
they
got protection.
God.
That shit is cracking me up. I hope that it becomes a cult classic, and it's just one of those movies that people watch to laugh their asses off because it's so bad.
Well, if you had to rate the new Firestarter out of 5 fire extinguishers.
I was pretty bored with both. Neither of them really did anything for me. I would say somewhere with like either a 1 or a 2
Yeah.
extinguishers.
This is gonna be probably my hottest take. This is a 0.5 for me, because I'm not gonna rate. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it is my lowest score. I'm not gonna rate anything as 0. I think that there's at least some value in anything.
Somebody put work into it.
But it's like I said, the value for this is the score, and it doesn't match the movie. And like I said, the small performances from the family were solid for what they got. But I mean, none of them were great. Yeah. They just okay.
Yeah.
But everything else around it, the effects, the cinematography, it's all just bad.
Yeah. I'm going to go a 1 on this. But the longer I go without seeing it, it'll probably just completely fall off of the rating system in general. Like, I'll just forget about it. I've already started replacing it with other things in my mind. I've been watching Barry. It's fucking hilarious. So I'm just replacing Firestarter as quickly as I possibly can. But let's wrap it up and tell the folks what we're doing next week.
So excited about next week. A few things. Love, Death, and Robots 3 is out. So if you liked our discussion on that, then you can check that out now. That's on Netflix. Also, by the time you're hearing this, Stranger Things 4 will be out in just a few days. If you're hearing this on Monday, it'll be out Friday. We are doing a break the binge. So we are going to watch, I guess, on Friday?
One episode at a time.
We are watching one episode, waiting a week, and then watching the next episode, and we are doing that for the entirety of Season 4, both parts.
Ooh, it is going to be a fucking struggle to not get spoiled.
I think so, too, yeah. And it's going to be tough to do, I think.
Yeah, we're all going to have to really respect the breaking of the binge and just remind ourselves, don't do it because you're not a piece of shit.
Let's get a three-way handshake going on.
I don't know. He fucked it up. Someone's fucking it up.
I think you need to cross your arms.
Shake the hands. But if you want to join us,
great for video, not for audio.
That's right. Yeah. If you want to join us for Break the Binge, then let us know. We'll write your name
hand
down,
in our hands,
and then you can tell us week to week whether or not you were able to do it, and we'll shout you out.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to kind of guess where we think the season's going to go instead of just being like, oh, we all watched the whole thing and we already know.
Yeah. In addition to that, what we are going to be talking about on our next episode is, for one, we're going to continue with Sam Raimi and finish up our Sam Raimi month, and we're going to watch Drag Me to Hell, which I'm very excited to revisit. And for our main discussion,
our favorite subject, men.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Alex Garland's new movie, Men. Which former Porcelain Peak host Randy said, and I quote, "It's wild."
Yeah, I've heard that this is very much an A24 folktale done by Alex Garland.
Hell yeah, brother.
So I am 100% down. Let's do it.
Yeah, so we will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have opinions about Sam Raimi or the Chainsaw Awards or how crazy trivia was, then shoot them to us over on Instagram or email us at porcelainpeak@gmail.com. But I have been Tone.
I've been John.
And I've been vindicated. And the internet darling, Anthony.
See you next time.
Keep it creepy. PorcelainPeakShop.com.
For exclusive episodes, early access, merch, and to support the show, head over to patreon.com/porcelainpeak.
Thanks to all our patrons for the support, and special thanks to producers Chuck, Rob, Ashley, and Michael.
You can find Porcelain Peak on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Wherever you listen, don't forget to rate, review, share, and subscribe so you never miss a thrilling episode.
Special thanks to Roger Jackson for introducing the show, and to Jeff For Real for composing the Porcelain Peak opening and closing song.
All content and episodes are written, produced, designed, and edited by the Porcelain Peak team, consisting of Anthony Perez, John Brasher, and Anthony Silva.
This has been here words for Weirdos Production.